Demonstrations, rallies, vigils. They're being staged across nations. From India to Rome, from Bangladesh to Brazil, protests are spanning the world. As the war escalates, people are taking to the streets, gathering outside embassies and government buildings. They're showing support for one side or the other by expressing grief and outrage for Israel and Palestine alike. Now, while expressions of solidarity and grief are okay, the byproduct of outrage is not. For instance, chatter from neo-Nazis has increased. Protests are turning violent. People are making excuses for Hamas terrorists. France and the UK are seeing a rise in anti-Semitic acts. Cities have had to boost security measures the world over. Our next report tells you more.
This is how many of the world's most recognizable landmarks appeared this week. Take, for instance, New York's Empire State Building, White House in Washington, D.C., Sydney's Opera House, or the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Buildings were illuminated in blue and white colors, representing Israel's flag. It was a show of solidarity, but it didn't stop there. The unprecedented scale of Hamas attacks brought people from around the world onto the streets, from India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan to France, the US, and the UK. People gathered on the streets, outside embassies and government buildings, to express their grief and support, some for Israel, some for Palestine.
Palestinians are humans. They have the right to live. They have children. They have the right to live a normal life like everyone else.
I want them to release the hostages. I want them to release the people, the children, the elderly that has been kidnapped to Gaza. And that's why we're here, to make sure that the mother and the children will go back home.
But this wasn't the only motivation that brought people out to the streets. There were protests as well, displays of rage.
Raping babies, beheading babies. Show me, I'm here. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm on my own.
In San Francisco, demonstrators from the opposing sides faced off across streets. In Manhattan, pro-Palestine supporters battled with supporters of Israel, trading threats of violence. In Karachi, people burned Israeli and American flags. In India's Uttar Pradesh, 4 students were booked for raising objectionable pro-Palestine slogans in a protest. In Berlin, too, several pro-Palestinian protesters were detained.
Like I said, taking the actions of a minority and putting them on whole communities of people with various backgrounds, various lives, various personalities. And we can't accept this. We can't accept our freedom of expression and assembly to be curtailed in such a manner.
But this isn't even the half of it. Reports say anti-Semitic incidents in the UK have more than quadrupled since Hamas's attack on Israel. Just this week, 89 anti-Semitic incidents have been recorded. That's more than a 4-fold rise. In the same period last year, 21 incidents were recorded. Since the attack, anti-Semitic acts have risen in France as well, which has Europe's largest Muslim and Jewish populations.
Des alertes qui nous sont remontées ces dernières heures et ces derniers jours avec des élèves de confession juive qui ont pu faire l'objet d'agressions dans leur établissement, avec certains appels qui ont pu être relayés de la part de collectifs d'extrême gauche à venir tracter ou manifester devant des établissements.
Since Saturday, 24 people have been arrested in France. Security measures have been heightened. The French government has assigned 10,000 police officers to protect 500 sites. On Saturday, the Parisian police banned 2 pro-Palestinian gatherings, fearing that the protesters could incite racial hate. The US faces a similar problem. Some cities have reinforced security around Jewish houses of worship. Online monitoring in the country has shown increased chatter from neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and pro-Hamas extremists. Germany and the UK have also increased patrols across their cities and heightened security in Jewish institutes. So the fear of threats looms large. Chances are, as the war escalates, this will as well. And while solidarity through protests is okay, extremism and blind outrage is definitely not.